Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
When the hunt matters, trust the gear that's built to perform. At Scree Gear, we design premium hunting apparel that keeps you comfortable, concealed, and ready for whatever the mountain throws your way. From early season spot and stalk hunts to late season extremes, Scree Gear is trusted by hunters who refuse to compromise. And if you want to sharpen your skills and follow real hunting adventures, watch Scree TV on Waypoint TV. Visit ScreeGear.com to gear up today. Then catch Scree TV on Waypoint TV and experience the hunt like never before.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk about, well, we got a list, and it's going to be 10 ways to step up your prepping to help get prepared, things you can do this summer, this spring, to really kind of raise your preparedness level. We put together a big list, 10 things. We started out with 50 and kind of whittled it down and cut down to the essential, let's get ahead, let's make some headway, and get things rolling in the right direction. I don't know, Kevin, where do you want to start?
Well, we can jump right into the list.
Let's hear it. Number one,
trade with neighbors.
Trade with neighbors.
So I've been doing that a little bit recently. Cut up a tree in my neighbor's backyard for him, and
it's a little barter networking.
Yeah, he gave me a car charger, battery charger, and that sort of thing kind of gets your skills moving as far as getting the trades going, and finding out about some stuff that you may not necessarily be able to afford or want to spend money on,
Very John Galt of you.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
There's a lot of networks too. If you go on Facebook and Craigslist, there's a lot of things that you can see, find to do some bartering and trading with that too.
Yeah, I know we had mentioned in a barter episode or something, but trading skills. Mm-hmm. You said you used your chainsaw or whatever and took out a tree and you got some actual physical products in return.
And some firewood, because he was just looking to get rid of it.
Yeah, well that's a plus right there. Just to be able to get rid of some of the clutter out of your house. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more than getting rid of stuff or getting more stuff or avoiding the tax man or any of that. It's also getting in touch with your neighbors, getting to know your neighbors, who they are.
Right.
Kind of, one, you can feel out their inventory and their resources a little bit. But also, when you talk to each other, you build up that relationship. That's somebody who might have your back as opposed to steal from you.
Right.
When times get hard.
Yeah, and I've had neighbors try and sneak up on me when I was in my own backyard in the dark because they thought I was somebody breaking into my house.
See, they're looking out for you.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing to have neighbors that watch out for you.
Yeah,
but let me just say, if you live someplace where all your neighbors are assholes, you might be the asshole. Just a heads up. It's a hard lesson a lot of people don't want to learn.
I notice that in my own house sometimes.
Everyone in your house is an asshole except for you?
And maybe
maybe,
yeah. I don't know. I hear rumblings.
Yeah?
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've known you for a long time.
And I am an asshole?
Yeah.
It's, at least I'm consistent, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right. So, that's number one.
Let's jump down to number two.
What do you got?
Maple trees. Tapping
maple trees.
Yeah.
Now, we're actually, I think I might even mention, I want to put together a video on this. Because believe it or not, the right time of year, when you want clean drinking water, tapping a tree. And, it's a lot of work to...
Yeah, you have to collect a lot.
Make maple syrup.
Yeah.
But to whittle up a little shoot and tap a tree and get water to come out is something you should try and do. You know what? Spend 20 minutes, watch a YouTube video, and maybe it'll be mine if you give it a little time,
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that he comes up to one of the places where I work at and goes through the woods behind the buildings.
Taps them all.
And he even, sets up some of the, I know you've seen those hose systems.
Yeah, where they all run together,
Yeah. I think, you can get in really pretty deep into it. I, myself, I've never actually done any maple syrup making. I think maybe I'm going to have to give it a try
it's a lot.
This next round.
It's a lot of gallons to
the
one,
ratio.
Yeah. I guess it varies by tree, but the bottom line is it's something like, a tree's usually like 2% sugar, in the water coming out.
Okay.
So like 100 gallons, you're going to get like 2 gallons once you boil it down.
All right.
So it is pretty intense and, labor intensive and whatever. Typically a tree, I think they say you get 10 to 15, I've heard 10 to 20 gallons per shoot over a season. You can usually do like 2 shoots in a tree. But again, it's not something I've really gotten into. I just, at a minimum, I think you want to be able to know, hey, I can go out and find clean water right out of a tree. You just take your knife, drill a little hole, and you put the little funnel chute and put it in any kind of container you got. A can you find, your canteen, whatever.
Right.
Your camping cup, whatever. And just, something you should try and do. Just to say, hey, I can go get water out of the woods if I'm stuck. Because I guarantee you, figuring it out now when you have YouTube in your pocket is a lot easier than figuring it out when you're really thirsty. Now, again, that's seasonal. It's something you do at the beginning of the spring, just as you get, above freezing each day. The sap will start to run, so that's kind of your time. So I was holding off on making the video till just about now, Yeah,
they say sugar maple, black
Okay.
maple, and red maple are the 3 best trees to use.
Okay, and that's for syrup.
Right.
But you can tap water. There's a couple other trees. I don't know all of them. Again, go check it out. Do some research on your own. But like birch trees, I think you can do, and some other stuff. But even if you're stuck with the maples, there's a lot around. It's definitely something you could get into.
All right.
Number 3.
Walk or ride a bike
What?
versus driving your car. Right. If you're planning on bugging out or planning on getting ready, being ready, then you ought to be able to at least go from your house to the grocery store without using a car.
It's kind of exhausting when you get on a bike. You're like, I remember riding a bike as a kid. It wasn't that bad.
It's because you're a lazy, out of shape asshole.
Whatever. I got up and what was it? I had to go. My car got dropped off at the car garage. And so I wanted to go pick it up before the wife got home and whatever. This was maybe a year ago. I don't know. Whatever. But I'm like, I'll grab the bike out of the shed and I'll go ride over. It's probably 4 miles, something like that, to the car garage. And so I'm like, all right, I'll head down there, hoofing it, no problem. I'm feeling pretty good. And I go the 4 miles. And this is a mountain bike. It's not, your nice 10-speed easy rider. I think that's the difference too. But I roll up and, of course, mechanic freaking didn't leave the keys in it. And I'm like, no! And so, I just had to freaking hoof it back. And I was cool with the 4 miles. But then the second 4 miles, I was like,
because it was downhill on the way to the shop.
And I'm like, it's not really that cool anymore, So,
well, even little things like, if it's above 20 degrees, I'll park at the end of the parking lot.
Okay.
My wife loves that.
I bet she does.
She loves that.
I always get that. Why are we taking a tour of the parking lot? I'm like, well, because my truck's twice the size as all the parking spaces.
Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah, no, it's definitely important to be in shape, be ready for situations that might arise, and it's really easy if you start with making small steps towards that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're out there, running 3 or 4 miles every day, then you could probably skip parking at the end of the parking lot.
Yeah, you're all right.
To walk in. Yeah, but if you have a hard time doing all your shopping at Walmart without getting winded, you might need to do some work on that.
Yeah, I was just at the mother-in-law's the other day, and she gets winded like coming to the front door. So that's too much.
That would be something that maybe
that's a sign. Maybe you need to step it up.
Yep.
All right. So that one. Well, what else? So you said a bike or walking.
Bike or walking, yeah.
Now, what about walking? Going out with the family a little bit.
Yeah, you can do that. I actually sometimes will take my bug out bag, and just carry it. Go on a hike through the woods by my house, carrying the 60 pounds on my back.
Now that's allowed. You can just hike in your own woods. You don't even have to
You don't have to drive someplace to actually go.
You can just
You can go any place you're at.
Now, what if I live in the city? You're saying that I could just walk around, go up 10 blocks?
Yeah, they have like sidewalks and everything, man.
Well, now, bike pass, is it, Agenda 21, right? Bike pass everywhere in America. I think Bloomberg was trying to turn New York into a bike city of some sort. Seem to remember some kind of...
Give me a ulcer talking about Bloomberg.
Times Square. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if it was all bike lanes and we had one freaking car lane?
Yeah.
See if we couldn't help traffic.
They did actually. They're doing not too bad with that. Actually, the city bikes where you basically drop off a bike and pick one up when you see one, whatever, you park it, lock it, and then go back out.
All right. So what's next on our list?
Learn how to be your own plumber.
Oh, your own plumber. I like that. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a shitty plumber, but...
I was very bad at, that's not something I ever had any experience with. But, it's, to be a plumber, all you really got to know is shit rolls downhill 1/4 inch on 4 foot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Away.
Paydays on Friday, that's it.
Nice. There might be a few plumbers out there that are going, whoa.
No, there's definitely quite a bit to learn, but it's you can get away without spending a fortune, to do some of the basic plumbing in your own house. Just putting a valve in your water line someplace, is a good way to start learning how to do it. Learn how to shut the water off to your house. You ought to know how to do that anyway, just to begin with.
Yeah, maybe.
And then start from there.
Maybe we'll add to this one. Learn how to shut the water off to your house and learn how to shut off your breakers.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do those two things, and God forbid you label your breaker box, you're already ahead of 80% of the houses out there and 80% of the homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, back to plumbing. I mean, shit, with copper, you got to clean it before you solder it.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just remember that one rule, I would be king of the freaking world.
Yeah. No, I think I made it to probably 30 years old before I ever
you realized you had to clean the shit out of it?
Plumbing, yeah.
Well, wait. So you have to clean the copper, and let me tell you, if there's water in the pipe, you got to shut off shit everywhere. And I know you know that. That's not what the point I'm making. But just cut it and start over. Don't try and unsolder shit and be like, well, I'm too cheap to buy a new coupling and a new piece of pipe. Just cut it and start over.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember those two rules, clean it and cut it and start over, you'll be way ahead of the game. And you'll have a lot less cursing days.
Mm-hmm.
Gluing together the PVC, awesome, easy, no problem. Anybody can do it.
PVC is good for waste pipes,
I learned this weekend, if you buy all your sink traps and all that shit at Lowe's, they give you these shitty plastic like little washers and things inside that suck.
Yeah.
And every connection freaking leaked. And then I went over to Home Depot and because they didn't have the right fittings, I kind of, tried to make shit work.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Home Depot. The selection was 1,000 times better. And then all the freaking ring collars were rubber instead of plastic.
Yeah.
And holy shit, not one leaked.
Yeah, big difference,
And
right?
I'm like, wow, these are fucking awesome.
Uh-huh.
And I just got to say, having the right shit sometimes makes the difference.
Yeah.
And if you're just using those little plastic collars, they got to be straight.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have to twist and do things to make your plumbing work, then that's a no-go. And since the waste pipe going out of the house goes at an angle, it turns out it's going to twist a little bit.
Yeah.
So go to Home Depot when you're buying your waste pipe pieces. I'm just saying. I'm not plugging one store or the other.
It sounds like you are.
It does sound that way. I was always going to freaking Lowe's because they give me the 10% veteran discount, right? So I can flash the card and yay, 10%. But man, when it comes to plumbing, all their shit sucks. And I mean, just they don't have anything in our local store. They don't stock anything of any reason. I go to Home Depot.
It used to be Home Depot and Lowe's though. If you didn't know what you're doing, you could go down the aisle and talk to the guy that worked in that area, and he'd
they
tell you
fired
everything.
that guy.
Yeah,
that guy's gone.
No, they don't know a damn thing. Not one person that works in that store knows anything.
Oh, it's bad.
But plumbing is one of those things that as long as you're willing to realize that you have to go back to the store 4 or 5 times for all the stuff that you keep forgetting to get.
Well, put it this way. There's about 5 traps in my work van now after I did my trap project this weekend because I kept having to buy, well, of course, they only sell things, a trap and an elbow together because we don't have just a freaking elbow because that would only make sense.
Right.
But anyway, not a little disgruntled. But no, really, buy a YouTube video, solder together some stuff. You want to be lazy and do shark bites. Or PEX, something like that. Shark bites, PEX, all that stuff. It's really easy, but honestly, it's not really as reliable as copper is. If you're thinking long term, turns out mice love to eat through PEX. Who knew?
Oh, I didn't know that.
It turns out it only has like a 15-year life on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought this was like magic.
The
And
new
plumbing now
miracle.
ended.
I know.
I
I
wasted all my time learning how to do it, and it turns out that
no, not so much.
Well,
and I already bought the tool. I'm screwed. So, all right, what's next on the list?
Digging a well.
Ooh, now I know we got a article up on the website about digging a well.
We do about a drive point well.
Yeah.
So, digging a well. Obviously, people been doing that for thousands of years. It's not complex technology.
Okay.
And yeah, if you need a 200-foot well to get clean water to your house, then you're not doing it yourself.
No.
Unless you own a drilling company. But you can drive your own well.
Yes.
You can drive your own well, 15, 20, 30, 60 feet, and just put a hand pump on top of it. And
just
you're
go
in business.
pipe after pipe and keep threading them together. Now you buy a little point to put at the end. And not a big deal. This is something you can go into Lowe's and Home Depot. I think they have it. They did in the past when I was there. They have the little hand pump wells that'll, work for you. The only thing you got to prime it. Not a big deal. Not hard to figure it out. Like I said, check out our article on preppingbadass.com. But bottom line, you pour the water. You take a gallon of water or whatever. You pour it in the top of the well and start pumping. And guess what? You're good to go. When winter time comes around, you just lift the handle up and leave it up. And then the water will drain out. So that way it doesn't freeze. Unless you can cover it. Some people build a box around their wellhead. And that way they can keep it warm all year. You always see, in the old... Little House on the Prairie or any of these things, when they have the hand well pump, you see a bucket hanging there, and that's because you leave the bucket with water to prime it.
Prime it.
If, that's what's going on. But So you'll go and pour the bucket in, and then you're good to go. And then, like I said, you just lift it up and it drains back out. But you can always kind of leave it primed as long as, you're planning that way and it's not going to freeze.
Yeah, and in almost every area, every state, you don't need a license to drill a well that's less than 200 feet.
Oh, yeah?
But
I did not know that.
You need to think about what you're doing before you do it. Plan it out. Don't put it right next to your septic tank.
The poo tank.
The water's coming out of your toilet, going into the ground, and then going into your well. You don't want that. Give it a good 100 feet at least. Check before you dig. Those things. Call before you dig. Do that. Check it out. Unless you know what's in your property or in your yard, check before you start driving a steel spike through the ground. There's a lot of interesting aspects to it, and it's really not as difficult as it may seem. And it seems like it'd be a very handy thing to have in your yard, access to water that you don't have to rely on the government or the infrastructure
and
for.
You know what it is? It's just knowing how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know when we looked at it, when I wrote that article, I priced everything out and I went and, did what I needed to do. I think we had a podcast. We got big into or deep into the well, You like that little play on words there? No, a little dad joke, right? No, but it was like $150 and you're, rocking and rolling. And you know what? How cool are you if you go set up so that you drive a little well in your right next to your garden? Mm-hmm. And now your wife's like, oh, now I don't have to run the hose. It's right here. It's easy.
Right.
Or I can wash my hands when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it has to be your main drinking water or anything crazy, but it's something you know how to do. And two, it is a backup. And for $150, if you can set up a backup water supply, I mean, that's, the big thing my wife's always, worried about is where are we going to get water, And it's a serious issue when you don't have it,
Right.
But, all right. What's next on the list?
Installing a generator.
Ooh, a generator. Now, you got a couple options with a generator. What are you thinking? Any thoughts? Or?
Well, I mean, generators are great. You just have to think about how you're going to fuel your generator, what operates it.
And
you can't run it in your basement if, you're running a gas generator.
No, people die, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, we have a couple choices. So, if you're the guy who believes the EMP is coming and the end of the world, you have solar, right? But solar and EMP might take out your inverter that basically goes from your panels to your battery. Now, you can have a second inverter or just have your whole system set aside that you can secure in a Faraday cage like we talked about. So that's one option, right? You have a solar generator, you have panels, you have an inverter, you have battery, you have an endless supply, however, limited by your panels.
Right.
Endless supply of 100 watts or whatever, you buy. So, all right, that's option one. We can do your standalone gas generator. That's what I have. Holds like 20 gallons of gas. I think it goes probably 24 hours or so straight. It has a 220 plug on mine. Again, I would say don't even, it really depends. I guess you're not wasting your time. If you're thinking on running a couple of things in your house, you really want like at least 5,000 watts running watts. Usually it'll say like 8,000 peak or 8,500 peak. I would say that's the minimum if you want to run stuff. If you're like, I just want to run a lamp and charge my drill,
right?
Then you can do something else. But if you want to keep your fridge going, be able to run your well maybe, and maybe keep the furnace on,
right?
Go with at least 5,000. Don't play games. I have where I can plug it into the house. If I was a building inspector, I would tell you that you need to make sure that you get the bracket so that when you turn the breaker on for your generator, it blocks off the main house panel or the main house breaker. So what they do is they make a metal plate so that when you slide one over, it forces you to, shut off your house breaker. That way, if you're running your generator and the power guy comes over and he's outside working on the pole, he doesn't get nailed. And that's with any type generator.
Yeah.
All right? Because it will actually backfeed into the thing if your main breaker's on. Now, if I wasn't a building inspector, I'd say don't be a fucking idiot when you put on your freaking generator, shut the main off. And either way.
Right.
But the redundancy to make it idiot-proof, then there you go. It depends on the world you want to live in. I'll let you choose your own destiny, But sadly, you're choosing the destiny of the guy out on the pole, too.
That's true.
But it's freaking 110. Get over here.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
He's probably a jerk anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
So, look, how much money are we looking to spend if we want to get a generator for backup for storms and things?
I think... it always depends. You wait till right before the storm.
Right.
And sometimes they're really bad. I think for 5,000, like I said, 5,000 running watts, Troy built, walking into Home Depot, you're probably looking about $700-800.
That's not really bad for
you know
the
what?
security
For peace of mind and that, yeah. I think mine was maybe $6.99 or so. It was a sale. I think it was regularly like $800. But you're talking about like $6.99, and it came with like 4 extension cords to that go 30 feet and are ridiculously thick and all this.
Yeah.
I waited until a storm came, and then I was like, well, I have free time. Why don't I hook up the do the wiring for the panel and all this? And I did it all by flashlight like an idiot. But hey, and then right around when I got it all set to go, that's when the power came back on.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, at least now I'm ready.
Now you're ready for the next one.
Now I'm the prepper. So there's that. Now, then you have like your bigger things you see like Generac or like that. Now, they're cool because, one, they're automatic. They test themselves. A lot of people have it set up to their natural gas that's coming in. Now, the problem is that's going to work for 98% of the scenarios. I even think the zombie apocalypse, I'm thinking the gas is still there.
Still going to be on for a long time. Because
people aren't really using it a lot. I think it's going to be there. I think you're pretty safe with that. But if you want to talk true off-the-grid prepper, you really want like your underground propane tank or whatever. Right. But again, that's going to run out too. You do have the possibility when you're natural gas that maybe your power company will divert things, or if there's a leak in the gas line, they might shut off a section.
Right.
Yeah,
that would
there's a million what ifs.
That would be something if you're in a earthquake prone area.
Right.
Where your power's out because of an earthquake, the gas lines also could go down.
Could be an issue. Yeah. So whatever. Again, it depends what you're preparing for. They say redundancy is the best way to be prepared. So, whatever, different ideas. I think those you're looking at like 14 or 15 grand to get something set up at your house. I know there's options for like $5,000, but I don't know that there's a lot of options for $5,000. So whatever, that's something you guys got to look into on your own. But the idea, some form of generator. I know we got a episode coming up on kind of finding electricity in the end of the world. But for now, that's the idea. You want some basic power. My problem I run into with the 20-gallon is I'm forced to use it and run it every year. Actually, what I end up doing, I'm kind of lame. I fill my 20-gallon tank. I put stable in it. I let it sit for the year, and then I go and drain it back into 5-gallon buckets, and I use it for my lawnmower and my other crap, because my lawnmower's tough. And then that may explain why some of my small engines don't work so well. But, because I got to cycle it through. You can't leave it forever.
Right,
you can't buy the new generator and then 6 years of it sitting there with a full tank of gas.
Right.
And then you're stuck. With stable, honestly, gas should last a year and be okay.
Right.
So, whatever. And
but you're going to want to change it.
I burn through it quick, that way. But what's next on our list?
Setting up a blacksmith shop.
A blacksmith shop.
Blacksmithing.
Now that's fun. That's a little bit more involved, but it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at a pretty big nut to get started on it.
It doesn't have to be as scary as you think.
Yeah.
You drive around, you see a lot of the places will sell, like, people who sell wood chips and things like this, or like pellets for pellet stove. They'll sell coal by the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy a couple bags of coal. You go on YouTube. Honestly, you can make a little furnace with cinder blocks. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. The one thing you run into, you need some kind of an anvil.
Right.
You need something to be able to pound on.
Yeah, they're not too cheap.
They're not
small,
cheap at
tiny
all.
Ones.
Even little ones. What I ended up doing first was I bought like the biggest Harbor Freight vise.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have it with like the anvil back. It has a big flat.
Right.
Whatever out the back. And it's not as cool as the other, but it's something you can pound on. But really, cinder block, coal, you need ventilation. You need to be able to pump in some air to heat it up quick. That's the big thing that makes your forge, different than the other. But honestly, you can go into Harbor Freight. Maybe the anvil's $50, $60, $75. You got to go in with your, 50% off coupon or whatever they do, And then, and then I bought, some hammers and some other stuff. And obviously you want to buy better shit along. But
right. Well, I mean, you can't. You don't
get all the
necessarily
stuff
need to
and
spend
whatever.
thousands
Right.
of dollars on
I'm
high-end
talking
stuff
about
on
right,
your first,
banging
your
out,
first experience,
making a knife, making a different thing here and there, little stuff like that. So it's kind of cool, something to play around with. I don't know. I mean, I was kind of excited about it, but to be able to kind of work your own tools and do stuff, that's pretty cool skill at the end,
Yeah.
But, again, that might be a little more hobby. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we were thinking that or welding, and honestly, welding's tough, and we didn't have a lot we could tell you about it.
Yeah, welding is really
I can
something
do a little
that you
wire
gotta class.
welding, but it's not my expertise, know?
Yeah, I definitely took a few welding classes and got right up to the point where I could almost weld.
There you go.
So that's bad.
I seem to remember welding the frame on your Mustang and putting a hole in the radiator.
Yeah, I remember that.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, we did pop a hole in that radiator, didn't we?
But I think I got it back together too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think you
It
drove
held
to it
together
that
pretty
day.
well for a while. That Mustang.
There you go. So, yeah, I think we did a lot of welding on that. That's the extent of my welding experience is your rusty cars.
My rusty old, yep.
But, all right, what's next on the list?
Next on the list is building a pond.
Oh.
Now, ponds are great resources for for the water. Access to the water. 2, it's great. It's a great way to be able to bathe your dogs and bathe. Scrub your kid out there too. Dirty animals.
like
but
that.
I mean, a lot of ponds are. If you make it big enough, you can really start to raise some fish in the pond and have it as a backup resource.
I mean, to be able to get into aquaponics and like that and really research it. And I see people building sustainable systems with 55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
So your pond doesn't have to be huge.
Right.
You just kind of get started and move in the right direction.
Right.
I'd like to see it bigger than 55 gallons, but, I'm just saying you kind of can make some headway with something, You got to buy the tarp, but, a lot of people have those old crappy blow-up swimming pools, plastic ones that maybe you recycle that tarp. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's options,
And depending on the ground you have, you might be all right. Actually, neighbor across the street was having some septic work done, and
mysteriously it became a pond.
Well, no, that did happen.
His yard?
That did happen for about a year, but when he actually got somebody that knew what they were doing over there with a backhoe, the guy's like, "Oh, let me just." They were talking, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I can just dig a pond over here in about 5 minutes."
Yeah,
and dug a big hole. And granted, it's only it only stays halfway full, you know.
Yeah.
But he's got his own little spot where his kid catches frogs and things out there.
Exactly.
And it's a very simple project to do, depending on how deep you want to get into it.
Right.
Now you built the pond by the side of your house.
I did. Now I had a section of my yard that it was always wet. It wasn't like a natural, like spring, nice wet coming up. It was more just everything kind of puddled there, and that was the last place to dry because it was the low spot in the yard. So I was like, well, if everything's running there, I may as well dig the hole there, and it was convenient where it's not like, hey, look at me, because I can't make it huge and nice,
Right.
We're talking about 20 by 12 maybe. I just know this because the tarps I have to buy keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looks like a tiny little nothing, but the tarp is freaking... So, and mine is like 3 feet deep all the way. And I just wanted something I could put catfish or something cool, 1 or 2 in there and whatever. I just wanted to play around.
Right.
And actually it did attract bullfrogs and like you said, and all kinds of cool things happening there. It's apparently like a sex haven when you see how many freaking tadpoles and every other damn thing in there every year.
Those horny bullfrogs.
Oh, they're ridiculous. But anyway, so and all kinds of things. I mean, cattails started growing up naturally. I guess they come in on the birds, or I don't know where the hell that shit comes from, but things I've never seen in my yard before, pop up, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. My mistake, I mean, I would love to dig really deep and nice, but my whole yard is just a freaking rock.
Yeah, you basically live on bedrock.
It was just me out there with a pick for, 3 years. And then even with that, the bottom's all rough from the, jagged from the rocks. So you're limited on the tarp options and you got to buy something thicker. And then you're like, oh, I'm spending $300 on a tarp. So now that I got you all excited about why you want to dig a pond, but some people have dirt.
Right.
It turns out not everybody has to fight for everything.
Yeah, really that's the best way to do it. I have all clay here.
Okay.
And I've got, running
clay should hold
springs on my property.
Springs are even better.
But if you can find just a wet area that is fed by a small spring or a stream,
yeah,
you can get right to work on that within, you could do that in an afternoon if you're
that's it. I mean, not everybody fights. I mean, sometimes digging dirt is not that hard,
right?
And especially if you got a bunch of kids, you can get out there, put them to work, put $50 on
then all
the
you
table.
have to do is stand out there with a bullwhip and everything gets done for you.
Everything's done, huh? Nice. Not bad. What's next?
All right, number 9.
Oh, we're nearing the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Conserving electricity.
I actually this week started stepping up my game.
Oh yeah,
I did. So tell me your thoughts first.
I've been on point. Not me.
Oh,
but my wife's an electricity Nazi.
Yeah.
She chases me around the house, turning things off behind me,
I feel
turning
her
TVs
pain.
off. But I mean, your big drains are things like your TVs and your
you
like
want
the
to
big
be
screen TV.
LCD.
That
you,
is
you can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can
even the
or
high
LED.
efficiency.
Sorry, the LED TVs are not that bad. It
Yeah.
was when the big TVs came out, they were horrible. The big flat.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're buying LED, not great, but not horrible.
Right.
People are leaving their chargers in all the time. I'm told that's a big problem.
Yep.
I don't know. My wife yells at me all the time about it.
Yeah. I unplug most of my stuff if I'm not using it. Even things like the coffee pot are unplugged. You know.
Yeah. That matters. But I believe it or not, we all thought we were cool, and it was funny. That's why I was saying this weekend. I actually, because I'm cheap, I went out and bought all those stupid CFL bulbs way back, when they first kind of were the thing, and before LED were really an option.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I go and I buy and I put them all over the house. So I was kind of writing it off as, I'm already good. I'm squared away.
Right.
I don't need to worry about it. So I don't know. I think Lowe's or one of these places had a bunch of LED bulbs for $1 the other week, each when I was up there. And I think they had dimmable ones at Sam's Club or something, 2 for like $7. Whatever. I was like, I wanted to do dimmer lights in my basement because, of course, I got freaking 8 recessed lights down there. And, originally they were all like 75 watts when I bought the house, You turn that on and you're freaking,
meter's just spinning.
You're horrible. So, anyway, and then I put in, of course, a bunch of CFLs, and then I was like, they're not dimmable. And I know that's obvious to everyone in the world now, but it wasn't when it first kind of happened. When these things came out, I wasn't on point with it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're saying, well, gee, that's been like 12 years or 6 years or something. Yeah, well, I haven't gotten around to it. So I buy the light bulbs. Yesterday I go down. I'm like, all right, I'm changing out every one of these. So they're all CFLs, and I'm thinking, I'm pretty good. Turns out I bought replaces 100 watts, so they're like 22 watts each. And now I'm going to LED that are like 5 watts each. And then times 8, I'm like, that's kind of a big difference. I go through and I change them, and it was amazing to me. Supposedly the CFLs replace 100-watt bulbs. The ones I bought that are LED are supposed to be replaced 60 watt, and they're twice as bright as the other one. And I went through, and as I'm going through, one of my kids, I go in the room, they have a ceiling fan, 3 light bulbs, 60 watts each. And I'm like, really? You're doing this all the time? I'm like, I'm writing Al Gore a letter. He's going to find out about your behavior because this is not good. But the same thing, I bought, the little fancy ones where you see the filament inside, but they're LED.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but it was like $14 for a 3-pack, but now I think it's like 9 watts. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I guess it's just, the bottom line is, there's always stuff, we could do to cut it down a little bit. And it's just, one, it makes it so that you really can kind of run your house off a generator. 2, it makes it so that, you have a cheaper electric bill and you have more money to buy bullets.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's what's important.
You got to have your priorities. Food storage and bullets, right? Or just bullets and more guns.
Just more bullets?
Bullets, because, once you got a good gun, then bullets. All right, so anyway, number 10?
Number 10, sharpening your own tools.
Ooh.
Now, you can get a wheel pretty easy.
Okay.
One of those automatic ones. The you pick up, plug in.
Or we're plugging it in.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Those I've sharpened everything from axes to lawnmower blades. It's not something that that a lot of people are good at.
No.
But it's very easy to get good at it. You can spend an afternoon messing around with one of those and sharpening everything you have, and you're going to be a pro by the end of the day.
Nice. And that's it. Just taking care of your stuff,
Right.
Nobody does it, but cleaning your guns.
Yeah.
Taking care of it matters,
Exactly.
And your tools. I hate to say it.
Tools?
Your stuff that you're using outside, all your yard tools.
Yeah, I was doing some work with a socket set outside a couple weeks ago. And, it was like fine rain coming down.
Yeah.
And when I was done, I went inside, talking to somebody, and I was taking every socket out and wiping it down. They're like, what the hell are you doing? Well, I want to have a socket set that's not covered in rust, without having to buy another one every 6 months.
I don't have anything I can say to that. I
have
to hang my head in shame a little bit.
Yeah.
But
there's no reason to have a knife
that way
that's
it blends
sharp.
in. It's like camouflage with the bottom of my truck.
Yeah, there you go. Matches.
It matches.
Yeah. No, but, I'll even go through with a whetstone, if I have an extra 15 minutes and, bored, I'll go through all my kitchen knives and sharpen them.
Nice.
Making dinner is a lot nicer when you have knives that actually cut vegetables.
My wife used to complain about it, but she loves that all the knives always are, ready to go. And that's the thing, in the kitchen. I think we go through, we have like 4 regular chef knives.
Yeah.
Tell you, I was at somebody's house doing a repair the other day, and so she tells me, "Oh, my daughter's moving downstairs," and this is relevant.
Okay.
We'll get there. Just in case you guys were all starting to panic, But she's like, "Oh, my daughter's moving downstairs, and she's doing all the work herself, and it's great." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, all right." And she's like, "Yeah, let me take you down and show you." So we go downstairs, and her daughter's using a like really sharp, nice like bread knife that you get for for cutting loaves, whatever.
Right.
And she's cutting sheetrock with it.
Oh.
And she's like, "No."
Yeah, you can buy those for like $7, man.
It's
you
like,
can
that's
get
awesome.
those sheetrock knives.
But, that's it. We all, just take care of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, take care of your homestead. And we just kind of wanted to give you some ideas, get you excited about springtime here, get you to, step up your game this spring.
That's right.
And then you can get back to drinking beers.
And that's what's really important.
You got to have your priorities, beers and bullets.
Mm-hmm.
And boobs.
And boobs.
And boobs. So, whatever. So, with that, check us out on Patreon. Maybe follow us on Facebook. iTunes reviews. I see you guys left this one. I appreciate it. Like you guys are, keeping it up. And stay safe. We will talk to you guys next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.